What are the rules if I am self-employed and receiving disability benefits for families and individuals? Presented by Granite State Independent Living's Financial Planning and Benefit Services. What is considered self-employment? Social Security's definition: there is a good faith intention of making a profit or producing income. The activity involves continuity of operations, repetition of transactions, or regularity of activities. The activity is a regular occupation. The beneficiary is holding themselves out to others as being engaged in the selling of goods or services. Please note that only Social Security can make a determination of whether you are self-employed. You are also considered self-employed if you are in a contracted position and receive a 1099 at the end of the year, which means that you are responsible for paying all of your taxes yourself. How are earnings looked at when self-employed? When self-employed, your net earnings from self-employment, or NESE, are used by the Social Security Administration and the state of New Hampshire to calculate your earnings and the effect that your earnings will have on your benefits. It's important to know that for a self-employed person, both Social Security and the state use your net earnings, not your gross earnings. The Social Security Administration and the state expect you to be paying your Social Security taxes when self-employed, and this would be through your IRS taxes. How does Social Security calculate net earnings from self-employment, or NESE? Social Security calculates NESE by taking your gross profit minus your approved business expenses and then multiplying the total by 0.9235. So if you have $1,000 in gross profit, $200 in business expenses, your net profit is $800, and then they multiply that by 0.9235 to get $738.80 for your NESE. Social Security will use the business expenses approved by the IRS. You can go onto the Social Security's website for acceptable business expenses, and you can also go to www.irs.gov. How does the state calculate NESE? The state calculates NESE by taking your gross profit minus your approved business expenses, and that equals your NESE. So if you have $1,000 in gross profit and $200 in business expenses, your NESE for the state is $800. The state does not multiply by 0.9235 like Social Security does. The state will use business expenses approved by the IRS, but the state does not count depreciation. You can go to the state's website for acceptable business expenses and also go to www.irs.gov. What if I am seasonally self-employed? If you are seasonally self-employed and want to know how Social Security and Health and Human Services figure your yearly NESE, for SSDI and state benefits, divide your net profit by the number of months worked in your seasonal employment. For example, if you have an ice cream cart in the summer for 3 months, then you will divide your net income by 3 months. For SSI benefits, the total net profit is divided over a 12-month period, no matter how many months you're employed. So even if your ice cream cart is only open for 3 months in the summer, your total net income for those 3 months will be divided by 12. How does self-employment affect my SSDI cash benefit? During the trial work period, Social Security will look to see if you have NESE of $770 or more per month, or if you've worked in your business or as a contractor for 80 or more hours per month. How does self-employment affect my SSDI cash benefit? After the trial work period, Social Security will look to see if you have NESE of $1070 or more per month. There are work rules that apply only when you're self-employed, such as unpaid help and unincurred business expenses. And you cannot use the subsidy or special condition work incentive when you are self-employed. What is unpaid help? Unpaid help is help provided to you in your business by family members, friends, or others who work without pay. The value of the work performed without pay is deducted from your countable wages. What are unincurred business expenses? An unincurred business expense is anything that the IRS would allow as a business expense for your business operations that you did not pay for yourself. For an example, if a local organization allows you to use their office space or equipment for your business at no expense, the value of that space or equipment will be deducted. Social Security takes the value of the expense and deducts it from your countable wages. How does my self-employment affect my SSI cash benefit? When your SSI monthly cash benefit is calculated, NESE is used as your wages. Remember that if you are employed seasonally rather than yearly, your yearly NESE is still divided by 12. There is one work rule that only applies to people who are self-employed, who are on SSI, and that is called Property Essential for Self-Support, or PES. You cannot use this if you're an LLC or a type of corporation, but you can use it if you are a sole proprietor or in a partnership. What is Property Essential for Self-Support, or PES? Many people who want to be self-employed are afraid that owning a business will count as a resource, which may cause the loss of SSI and Medicaid. Under PES, Social Security will not count your property if you use it in a trade or business, for example, your inventory, or use it for work as an employee, such as tools or equipment, regardless of the value or the rate of return. The state of New Hampshire also has exclusions when it comes to property owned for self-employment, and you should talk to Health and Human Services about this. Reporting. Please note that you should report your self-employment promptly to all sources. Since you do not have pay stubs, profit and loss statements are acceptable for monthly and quarterly reporting. At the end of the year, a copy of your taxes with the Schedule SE and C need to be provided so that Social Security and the state can look back at your yearly NESI and average it over the past year to determine your countable wages and correct any errors. If you receive SSDI and are using trial work months, you need to keep a log of the hours you worked in your business to report to SSA. Want more information? You can view the rest of the videos to learn more. You can contact Granite State Independent Living for assistance. You can visit the New Hampshire Work Incentive Resource Center. You can contact the Social Security Administration or New Hampshire's Department of Health and Human Services. If you are connected with an area agency, a mental health center, or vocational rehabilitation, you can contact them for more information and assistance.